Hey everyone, just after a long break in July, we're back. I'm Roy Cocciollo, your host. We're here today at the Integrity Project, and it's good to be back. I got to tell you that I've missed doing this podcast, and I'm just glad to be back. And my first guest back is a person I've known probably 20 years.
Yeah,
I mean, we haven't been close,
right.
but we've been in the same industry for a very long time.
Yeah,
You're an icon in the mortgage industry,
yeah,
Joe.
thanks.
Thank
Like
you
a
for doing,
yeah,
thank you for all the things that you've done along the way.
yeah, appreciate
But
that.
now Joe Pinhero is my guest. He is the VP of Corporate Development at Dominion Lending Group of Companies,
Yeah,
which my brother's the president
yeah,
for, and I don't
yeah,
know why I don't remember that right now.
yeah,
But it's been a while.
yeah.
And first of all, thank you for being here, Joe.
Yeah,
And
thanks, Roy. I like you're always been like one of those really nice guys, even when we didn't know each other that well, like 10, 15 years ago, you were one
yeah,
of those guys that stood out. And it's not because you're 6'4" or 6'6", but your presence, it lights up a room. You're just a great gentleman, and to be here with you, and it's a pleasure. And thanks for thinking of me.
and you know what? I think one year you're voted as one of the nicest guys in the industry.
Really,
Actually,
I didn't even think there was that vote.
yeah,
I
we were talking.
appreciate that.
We were
Yeah.
talking to a bunch of guys, and like everyone's talking about Joe Pinhero. Joe Pinhero. I'm like, I don't really know Joe. And they go, he's like one of the nicest guys
Oh,
you'll ever
that's so
meet.
great. That's
So I just
great.
want to let you know that you had that
Oh,
reputation
that's
in the
wonderful.
industry for a very long time. So
Okay, I
thank you
appreciate
for
that.
being
Yeah, thanks.
such a
Yeah, and
great
it's been a
guy.
long time. I've been in this thing, um, like 32, 33 years in the mortgage broker industry.
And so I just want to say,
So,
like, happy birthday. You just had
yeah,
you had a big
I
milestone
turned
birthday.
60, and it's a weird feeling. It's almost like halfway through this year, it's almost like, okay, I want to get the 60th birthday out of the way so I don't have to think about it anymore. Like put it behind me, right? Because it's great. Okay, like you turn 60 and it's an accomplishment, and I'm still, relatively healthy and all that good stuff. But I can't lie to you, it's a little like, oh, I'm 60. Like it's almost a little, I don't want to say depressing, but I was at the cottage, woke up by myself. It was raining, couldn't go in the boat. So I'm in the garage hanging around, and you start just to stop and look around, and you think, okay, like you did good, you did all right, but man, I'm 60.
S-
It's
So
an odd, it's a weird feeling. It wasn't what I necessarily expected.
what do you think one of the biggest fears of getting into your 60s for a man?
It's a really good point. And I read a lot and everything. It's kind of like what do I do now? Like I love what I do for work wise. Like I don't plan to change anytime soon. Like I just want to keep on doing that. But um, it's almost like when you're 30 years, as you know, I taught like 20,000 students in Ontario, right? So I've been in front of people. I've been chair twice association, been involved in a lot of board meetings. It's the fear of not being relevant anymore as much. Now, when you're 70 years old, maybe you don't care to be as relevant anymore because you want to be left alone, right?
Right.
But I think it's that fear of like not being relevant, not being impactful, not having people look at you as an important person and figure anymore. It's kind of like a very scary, uncomfortable place for me. You
But
know?
do you feel that, you know what, in the beginning now, especially now we're in business, we want to be a prominent point of person in the business. But do you think that who you sees you more importantly when you get older changes from
Yeah,
maybe industry wise to more family, kids, grandkids? Because you have grandkids too,
yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. It's not about being prominent in the industry anymore because it doesn't like I've done enough, and I've been on stage enough. Uh, you know, I've been, Hall of Fame inductee and so forth. So that kind of stuff, it's over. But it's more the impactful day to day. I want to make sure I'm impactful day to day, with the people that I work with, and of course, like, and your family. Like, how is it you can make a difference that helps others in your family? And yeah, and I have, I've got my 11-year-old grandson Lucy, and my partner. We have, a couple more there, and then Emily. My oldest daughter has, her extended family as well with two more children. So it's getting full, and yeah, you know, I know I need to change a little bit more, as far as maybe I'm just not quite there. And I was just telling a story to Rich Spence when I was driving in here. It kind of hit me. It was, I woke up on my birthday, right? And I go to my TD accounts, and my TD checking account changed to TD senior privilege account. And it's, and
How'd
it's,
that make you feel?
it's shit. Like it just made me like, guys, give me a few months to get used to this senior
Do,
thing.
do, do, you, do, you, do you think that society's going to change the way they look at what senior actually means? Like, I think there's people in their 50s that are seniors, and there's people who are in
Right.
their 80s who are not. Like, I look at my mother-in-law. She's 85. She hacks butts like crazy. She's
Yeah.
got a spirit of a 12-year-old. She enjoys life. She has fun. She doesn't take life too seriously. But then you have those 50-year-old guys who are just sitting around like a bump on a log with no
Yeah,
ambition, no
absolutely.
life.
Yeah, and
You
I'm
know?
sure it's just the word senior. Like
Yeah.
when I saw, I was like, senior, who the hell you calling senior? I am not a senior, but I guess.
I guess you get extra privileges now, less fees and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
maybe. I don't know how the Shoppers Drug Mart thing works. I'm getting. I heard it's 55 or 60,
If
but
it's
I'm taking
55,
advantage.
I'm soon.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
turning
right.
57 this year, so I'm
Yeah,
not that far behind
yeah.
you.
So I mean, and I like Shoppers, so maybe I'll get some. But it's almost like I'd rather pay that 60.99 bank fee for one more year than
Yeah.
to see that senior. You know, so
Joe, and I brought you here for a reason because
yeah,
we had this really interesting conversation, and I just want to talk about building wealth for retirement.
sure.
And the identity question. Most people believe you need to have a high income to build wealth. But you prove that that's not true.
Yeah.
And what beliefs about money did you have to unlearn for you to start building wealth?
Okay. And I think it's important. Okay. Like, I've been through a couple of divorces. I've been through some business failure.
Yeah.
Like,
So tell us so you didn't
sure.
come back, you didn't enter this as privileged and things like, so
Oh
let's
my God,
talk
no.
about this. So 2 divorces.
Yeah. So I had two divorces. Okay. And I remember my last divorce, I left with a pickup truck full of my stuff over in Revenue Canada, $60,000 and having no money,
Like zero money.
zero.
And
What I had was
when
gift.
was that?
That was at the age of 37.
Okay.
Okay. So at the age of 37, I had zero. Okay. And then what I did is I rented a condo. So I'm working with mortgage lines, loving my job, doing what I can. And I was also teaching a lot. And was paying child support on 2 children, no alimony, but I paid child support for 2 children. And I remember like back in those days, okay, it's not about you anymore. It's being able to okay, you got to give it up for the kids and everything. So I rented an apartment with a buddy. Okay. So this way my rent was only 450, worked my ass off, saved the down payment, bought that house. It was a condo, a small little condo. Uh, all I did was pay money against the mortgage and pay it against the child support. That's all I did. And I used to teach a lot. I used to teach like Mondays, in Fanshawe College in London, Wednesday, Thursdays at Seneca College in Toronto, every second Saturday at Seneca, and every second Saturday at Conestoga for years. Okay.
And that was your side hustle.
That was my side hustle. Okay. So I would wake up January 1st knowing I only had 4 Saturdays off the rest of the year. Okay. For years. I mean, like for a decade. Okay?
Right.
And I remember people were saying, man, you teach so much, you must really like it. I need the cash. I'm sending my kids to school, university. Like this is like, I do like it. There's no question, but I got a bigger goal here. And the thing that I learned early on, right, is, I learned about investing. Like I was a big RSP type thing. And even like I tell young people now, the biggest thing is like when you say live beneath your means, like for 10 years, I lived ridiculously beneath my means, like ridiculously. And then when I bought that condo, I worked to pay it down. Prices were going up. I took a $20,000 line of credit. I bought the one 4 rooms down. And these places I still own.
Right.
And then after that one, I bought the one upstairs. So I just kept on moving. I kept on owning the buildings there, and I still have them all. Okay. And so that's how I kind of started. But when I say living beneath my means, I was driving a car that had 400 and like, again, in my, I was making without getting specific, north of 150,000 in those, years with mortgage lines. Right.
Right.
Um,
Which is, listen, and this is
Right
back
money.
probably like you're 60, so you're 36. That's 24 years ago.
Yeah, sure. 24 years
Right.
ago.
So if you think about it, 150,000 back in the 2000s,
Yeah.
that was a lot.
Sure.
That was a lot of money.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And I knew it was, and I was still making money part-time teaching, right? So that was a lot of money. But man, I would even do stuff, especially in the early years. I would go get a $20,000 RSP loan,
Yeah.
right? And advertise it over 12 months and leave the bank and go, I have no friggin' way how I'm going to do this. But I did it. But I'm driving a car that's got 400,000 kilometers on it. I'm living in a condo that's I was buying these condos for 125,000. They're worth 480 now.
Yeah.
And I just kept on, but I knew the whole thing is live ridiculously well beneath your means, especially for the first 10 years. And it was a struggle. And there was times where the tenants didn't pay the rent and where am I going to come up with the money? But just like stick to the plan. Stick to the plan. And I remember dating girls and everything like, you're a VP of sales and you live in this condo, you're driving a $400,000 car and you haven't gone on a trip in 6 years. Yeah. If it wasn't for, the rewards and recognition trips at Mortgage Alliance, I wouldn't have left nowhere. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it was so important because it's almost like starting at 37. Now in my early years, I had money like everybody else. So we spent it, we blew it, we did all kinds of stupid shit,
So all that stuff you spent your
Yeah.
money on, because I know what happens to a lot of people, and you hear this a lot. Anything you buy today,
Mhm.
you're not gonna care about 10 years from now.
Yeah. And it drives my partner, Lucy, crazy, right?
Right.
Her biggest thing is, I get these t-shirts I wear at the cottage.
Right.
They're white t-shirt. I got them from Costco, right? They got stands all over the place, and that's all I wear at the cottage. So I'm going to get you some new t-shirts. I'm going to get some new shoes, new boots, I don't care about any of that shit.
Right.
I don't like, you look outside, I got a pickup truck that I'm driving, 2020. Like,
It's a nice truck though.
yeah, it's a nice truck, but it's the basic 3.5 liter, no toys. I just try to keep myself as basic as possible. I don't have like a ton of watches. I don't have tons of clothes because that stuff to me just, it doesn't matter, you know?
Is there a formula you think that works the best? Because now you're 60. Like,
Yeah.
let me ask you, and you don't have to answer this question. If you
Yeah.
want. If you wanted to retire tomorrow, could you
Yeah.
retire very comfortably?
Um, no question. Yeah, I could definitely retire tomorrow, and be fine. Now I have my partner who wants a little bit more, a little bit different. But me, I could live in a shoebox, live in my cottage, drive my truck, and never run out of money, so to speak. Right? And
Right.
still travel and do it myself. Yeah, for sure.
And how important is it for people? Because I know that, I went through a divorce too. I
Yeah.
left a negative net worth, same
Yeah.
thing. Over
Yeah.
10 years, I built it.
Yeah.
And, I'm getting closer and closer to the aspect of like, how much money do I need to retire?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And I think that retiring too young is a problem.
Sure.
Because what happens with us is as we retire too young, we still want to do wonderful things. We want to
Right.
stay at the Shangri-La. We want to stay at the Four Seasons.
Yeah.
We want to go and do excursions and go for nice dinners. And I think when you get older in your 70s and 75 and 80, those things don't matter to you anymore.
Yeah. 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 No, absolutely. And I think that's important. Like you want to spend it more on experiences for sure. Right. So I've been to Portugal, Italy. I've only started really traveling to like Europe the last couple of years. But before that, I didn't really travel to Europe. So I like it. And again, my partner Lucy loves it. So like spend money on that type of stuff matters. Right. On how much is it to retire? Like a lot of people I think could retire, but I think more importantly, like other than the money, is like there's has to be something that you retire into, not
Right.
just out of something, right? So there's got to be a progression. There's got to be a reason for you to get up in the morning and go improve somebody's life. Go make something better for somebody else, and you got to get up excited about stuff.
Right.
Yeah, if you don't get excited about stuff, that's the thing that kind of scares me. Like in the next 3 years, like I better make sure I'm always waking up excited about something because you see people that they turn down pretty fast if you don't have a reason to get up every morning.
Well, I think the biggest cause of death for most people is retirement because they
Yeah.
lose their person. I think if you have a good social,
Yeah.
you got to stay healthy, right? Like
Health is important.
yeah, health is important. So you got to work out. You got to make sure that you're strong enough to enjoy your
Yeah.
life. And what about the happiness factor?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we understand that money doesn't buy happiness,
Right.
obviously. But you said to us earlier today that you were happy without money.
Yeah.
And now that you have a decent net worth, you're happy still,
Uh,
but you like it better.
I like it better. Yeah, yeah. It's that. I think that was on Wolf of Wall Street as well. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like I choose that. I choose that every time, right? But all it does is give you a little bit of like comfort and peace that everything's going to be fine and your family's going to be fine. And you always want to, like it's really, and we know this. I mean, you're saying Portuguese, you're Italian. You always want your kids to do better than you and have more than what you did, right? And I believe. And the funny thing is, I see a lot of families, some that are relatively close to mine, that their kids are not better than they are now. And even their parents were better than they were. And this is the first time, like I think in history, we've ever seen that. Now, is it because as kids growing up, we want too much, we don't have proper education, we don't like, I don't know what it is, but we're seeing situations like this, and it's a little odd.
Well, I think that education on the part, I think people are overeducated.
Yeah.
And I think what happens is we came from a generation, especially my parents. I don't know about yours. My parents, we were poor.
Yeah.
Like if you got
Sure.
one pair of shoes a year,
Oh my God. Yeah.
you got one pair of jeans to go to school. You may have 3 or 4 shirts and you have 5 pair of underwear. And like you wore those things till they fell apart or you
Absolutely.
outgrew them.
Yeah.
And then our generation, because we came from so little,
Mhm.
we had access to so much that all we want to do is give our kids everything they ever wanted.
Yeah.
And it created, I hate to say it, but it created weak kids. They're not like we were resilient.
Yeah.
We were creative. We wanted something. I remember go-karts. We used to make them out of 2x4s
Right,
and
it's the
like
same
we used to
thing.
make shit all the time. And it was
Yeah.
like, we were creative. We were resilient. We got hurt. I was watching this video about 1970s. Like our parents smoked in the house and
Oh God.
we
Yeah.
drank from the fire hose or the garden hose. And
Yeah.
we were out till, I don't know when. I don't think I was ever home in the summertime.
Yeah, no. As a matter of fact, when I remember growing up, Mike, because my mom's would, we drive our mom nuts, and my dad would come home and say, "Guys, this is what you do in the morning: get up, don't come home, just get off, go in the neighborhood, do whatever." And we grew up like we had cornfields. We just stay the hell out of your mom, stay outside all
Right.
day long. And yeah, we didn't have a bike growing up. You
No.
know, like, and there's three of us boys, so you couldn't afford one. Nobody got a bike. We had a soccer ball. You know,
Yeah.
that was our toy between the three of us. Uh, yeah, which was great. And like, and again, you always want your kids to do more. And I think somehow the generation of, like, we started taking more than what we needed. You know,
Right.
and
Right. And
and and
I think we came to a place of a consumerism where it's all about what you want
yeah,
and not what you need.
yeah, and it's like, you know, the amount of money people spend on cars and houses they don't need. It's just, I tell my partner this, and you know, I even tell my kids this. Like, every day somebody's trying to get your hand into your pocket.
Yes.
Everybody, like, whether you're going, like everything is designed to take money away from you, and you got to be awake every day wondering, okay, who's gonna f me today?
Right.
You know?
Well, this comes to my next question,
Yeah,
the sacrifice question.
yeah.
Building wealth always requires sacrifice.
Mhm.
Looking back, what were the hardest no's you had to say so that you can create the life you have today?
I think maybe it was in the early years because I understand math. Like, I'm a math whiz. I understand math. I understand money. I remember, like, you know, understanding compound interest when I was a very young age. I said, like, this can't be right. And um, I it's like everything was almost like a sacrifice. Like, I really thought about money in this way, almost to the point that it was like crazy. Okay, if it was like, okay, I'm gonna go spend $1,000 to go buy a suit, and I would do this math in my head all the time. Okay, what is this suit really costing me? Okay. So I said, okay, first of all, I had to make $1,500 to pay tax to have that $100,000 suit. Okay. Now, that $1,000 suit, if I buy TD stock that pays me a dividend at the time, say 4%, and it goes up by its historical 3 to 4% a year, in 2 years, and I get a tax deduction on that $1,000 of $400. And I do the math. In 3 years, that suit costs me $2,600. Is that suit today worth $2,600 to me? No. And I think you start rationalizing. Now, you can't be too crazy when it comes to this, but and I remember teaching people in class and everything, like, this is how money works. So everything has an opportunity cost.
Right.
Either you spend it here or you spend it there. So before you spend it here, look at the opportunity cost. So what else could have I spent this money on? Especially when it comes to cars and clothes and dinner. And even, like, I was doing this thing here. Like, can you imagine how many people, okay, are paying a $500 for dinner, amortized over 25 years? A whole bunch of people.
Yeah, I bet.
Because what they do is they put $500 on their credit card, and then the credit card gets real high. Now we're just going to pay it off with a home equity line of credit, and in 4 years we're going to refinance everything. That $500 dinner is now amortized over 25 years.
No, I get it.
But it's like people don't realize that's how money works, and these are the decisions people make every day. That it's that compounding of bad decisions with your money creates the catastrophe, but the reverse creates a very slow growth of net worth.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I had one guy tell me one day, and it's like, he was, well, I go, what's your secret? He goes, one thing I learned in life: you either use cash or credit. You never use both.
Hmm.
You have to decide how you're going to pay for things.
Yeah,
So what happens if you can put it all on your credit card? You
yeah,
take the cash, you pay off your credit card, but you don't put some on your credit card, some you pay cash. It's either
yeah,
all of one, and because that way you can keep track of it,
yeah, absolutely.
right?
Yeah,
And I think that also when it comes down to saying no to things, it's like I tell my kids this: when you really want something, wait a couple of weeks.
for sure.
And if it's still important to you,
Hmm.
maybe think about buying it on sale,
Yeah, yeah,
right? And I remember all the time, like I was always very impulsive, and my ex-wife was very impulsive. When she wants something, it's not like she wanted a couch. It's not like I can wait a couple of weeks. You just want it right there, and then you
sure.
buy whatever's on sale, and then like 6 weeks later, like, I hate this thing. I gotta get rid of it.
Yeah,
And I think that same thing with money. Like, you have to make sure that you care about your money like you care about a relationship. Because I know a lot of
yeah,
people, "Oh, I don't really care about money. That's why you don't have any,
yeah, yeah,
right?" And I think that when you respect money and use it to work for you rather than
yeah,
against you, and that's the hard thing that people realize is money is like anything else. It's a relationship you have with your parents, with your friends, with your work colleagues, the same kind of relationship you have with money. You know what? I work hard to earn $1.
right.
The question is, how much of this dollar am I
Hmm.
going to use to create or to earn for me? Is it
Yeah,
30 cents? Is it 25 cents? Is it 10 cents?
yeah,
And all the young people out there who are like in their early 20s and say, and maybe their late 20s, early 30s, who are starting their career,
hmm,
what's one piece of advice you would give them today that they can implement that's easy
hmm.
to start saving for their future.
Yeah, and then I think it gets back to the point I was saying is like whatever money you make, like that 20%, at least 25%. Um, like you have to it's got to be towards creating wealth, right? And even if you're taking that money, I was a big proponent of this, paying down your mortgage. What does that do? It creates more leverage, more room in case you want to borrow money to go and invest, right? But that's the biggest key. And and you hear people say, well, I don't like, even ex-spouses and so forth, I have a problem saving, is what they would say. I'm not a very good saver. No, you have a problem spending money.
Right.
There's two different things. So you got to get out of the idea, I don't have money to save. No, stop spending money. Right now, if somebody lives at 100,000 bucks, they can't save money.
Yeah.
Okay. And I said, well, do you know anybody that makes 80,000 bucks a year? Yeah. Do they seem to be struggling? No. Well, you get an extra 20,000, live like they do and save that 20,000.
Right.
Like everybody can go down a notch.
Right.
But until you get the idea, like, I got to go down a notch, start, like, people make an example. I would do mortgages for customers years ago, 30 years ago. And I would tell the realtor, oh yeah, this person qualifies for a $200,000 house, right?
That was
Or
a
the
really long
client,
time
they're like,
ago.
don't tell the realtor that. Tell them I'm only good for 150. I ain't spending 200,000. Now
Right.
somebody says, oh yeah, you qualify for an $800,000 mortgage. You think I can get me to 9? You know what I mean? No, get to 6.
Right.
Get to 7. But that's the biggest thing. And in the mortgage industry or any sales, your income goes like this, right? You better make sure your expenses is below that line completely, not down through the center.
Fuck, I'm in trouble.
Yeah. Because if it's down through the center, what ends up happening, you got to borrow money to get through the next month. Now you got a whole bunch of paychecks. What do you end up doing with those extra money? You buy more shit that you never really need it because you have a whole bunch of money, right? It's kind of like if my income's like this, my expenses better be beneath that line, not through the middle. If it's through the middle, you're screwed every time. You're never gonna have money to save. Some days you're gonna go to sleep stressed out. The next day you're happy because 4 deals closed. Now you got a bunch of money in the account, but you got some bills, and income tax. Well, screw that. That's not till next year. We'll pay that when I make more money.
No, you don't want to do that because, I mean, the only person you want to be dead with in this country is the government because they charge you 2% compounded every month.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but people have to get used to, and you can't tell me that you can't live on 60,000 bucks a year, because 10 million Canadians live on 60,000 bucks a year. So you can do it too.
Do you,
Right. So if you make 80, live on 60.
do you think that today's society is always based on the more you have, the better you feel about yourself?
Yeah. Like you still see there's a great book out there, and I'm sure you heard it. It's called The Millionaire Next Door. Right. I don't know. Have you ever heard about it?
I have not.
Okay. So it was a study done in the US where they brought in it was a study done of 1 million millionaires in the US. Okay. And of course, really interesting facts. And again, I'm making some of the stuff up because I can remember, but stuff like 72% of millionaires never spend more than $100 on a watch. Average drive a 10-year. Hey, you don't have a watch. Mine definitely isn't $100. Drive it like a 10-year-old car. Are usually small business people, laundromats, pizza plate, like small business people live in the same house for the last 25 years. Okay. The guys that we see driving around, with all due respect, the 740 Beamers and this, like, those are usually the ones that don't have, like, of course, there's a lot of rich people drive Beamers, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of like, it's kind of like, and again, I'm going to upset some people, like Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton was not made for rich people. Louis Vuitton was made for people who want to look rich, and their marketing and their store locations and everything they do is to target those people who want to look rich. Because the really rich people do not buy Rolexes and do not buy Louis Vuittons. Okay. The really rich don't. Right. So it's that we need to look rich. Right. And again, I'm on my cottage. I'm at the house sometimes in my cottage in my ripped up boots and my t-shirt, building a dock, doing something. And I'm sure some people come by and see a pickup truck and, working on my cottage. I can't afford to have anybody fix it. I got to do it myself. I look like the poor guy in the neighborhood, and that's fine with me.
Yeah, and it's okay. Like, and you know what? It's
Yeah.
funny because some of my clients that I've dealt with, the people that came in with the, BMWs and the expensive watches and suits and the clothes and their wife's all,
Up
decked
nicely,
out
yeah.
and stuff like that, and they carry, $150,000 worth of outside debt, and they
Yeah.
struggle to put a down payment on a house and terrible credit. And I have guys that come in that you'd never think have anything. And I was like I said, read an article where the guy never made more than $80,000 a year and had left $8 million to his family. And I think that,
Yeah.
like anything, it takes practice. And if you don't take a habit when you make 30 grand a year to put
Yeah.
a little bit of money aside. When you make 100, you're not gonna put any money
Yeah.
aside.
Yeah. And everybody has their vices. Like I still like going out to eat, right? And I always kind of watch.
Yeah, it's an experience.
Yeah,
Why
it's an
not?
experience because it is an experience you're sharing. It's not about the food. It's just you're getting out of the house, right? So I probably, if anything, that's probably one thing I spend more money than I should,
Right.
uh, that type of stuff. But even I was going through, um, Lucy, we went through this exercise. I was talking to Rich about this as well, Rich Spence, seeing like all these subscription stuff, right? Like how much money are you throwing away the stuff you don't even know? Because at the time you're like, oh yeah, I need Chat GPT this, I need this, I need this, I need this. And then like I was going through mine on my Amex and I'm asking Lucy, what's this? What's this 1095 Apple? Oh yeah, you're paying for Apple Music on your phone. I'm paying for Apple. Like
I don't even
I
use
don't
it.
how do you, I don't even know how to use it. How the
Right.
hell did that happen? How long you been doing that? Oh, I think like 3 years ago when you got there. Like how the shit like and I'm sure she's the one who said I'm sure, she's saying I'm gonna do this. I'm like, yeah, not thinking about it. But you start adding this stuff. And this is what I tell her. Everybody's trying to get your hand in your wallet.
So
Just say no to people. You don't need this.
I guess my question is my hate this statement, and you can say like,
Mm.
well, it's only $10.
Yeah.
It's only $20. And I remember my ex-wife used to say that to me, and I'd be like, when's the last time? Because she didn't work at the time.
Mhm.
When's the last time you earned $20? You can't say it's only $20. And I know it doesn't seem like a big deal, but $20 a month
Yeah.
times 12 is $240 a year times 10 years, 2,400, which you don't think much of it, but that
Yeah.
if you put that $20 a month into an ETF of some sort, all of a sudden that can be 30, 40, $50,000 in the
It's
future.
crazy. And yeah, and this is the thing, like for young people, right? Because I had my cousin, my nephew, and his wonderful girlfriend was at the cottage for her birthday, and they said, you're 6 years old. Would you give advice? And that was real sweet of her to say that because young people usually don't ask for your advice. And I said, now's the time to save because the hardest thing you will ever do in your life is to put $100,000 in savings. That's the hardest thing because that 100 to 200 doesn't take much. That 2 to 4, not at all. That 4 to a million, you'll be surprised, right?
Right.
And then you get to the certain point. It's kind of like now. It's kind of like I can't stop the thing going. Right. And you want to get to the point where, and like most people die with more money than they retired with because like our spending habits, I might be that same person. I don't want to spend money on stupid shit. So my kids will probably end up with a ton of money because I just can't change my habit. But the hardest thing for young people to do is to put the first 100,000 together.
Yeah, because if you think about it, if I don't like I was talking to my daughter and she's like, well, Dad, if I put $5,000, I want to make 10%. It's only like,
$500,
$500, which and I'm like, but it's not the point. The point is the 5,500 then becomes 6,500 and
Yeah.
it becomes 7,500 and then becomes 10,500.
Yeah.
And the more money you have, and my best friend is a financial planner, and we talk about this all the time. And he had a client that came in with $2.5 million, and then 10 years later, he's got 10 million bucks.
Mhm.
Well, that means if I had $250,000, most likely I'll have $1 million.
Yeah,
I might not have
exactly.
10 million, but I have
Right.
$1 million.
Right.
So opportunity for us to get in the habit
Yeah.
of making our money important enough to make it multiply,
Yeah.
right? And when you say you don't care about money, then money will never multiply for you. It's anything in life that you give love to,
Exactly. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you have to be obsessed by it, but you
Yeah.
give your money a little bit of love, that hard dollar that you spend so much time earning, and you take it and you nurture it and say, okay, here's 50 cents I need to make sure that I can pay for me living.
Yeah.
Here's 25 cents so I can buy the things that I actually need.
Yeah.
And here's 25% of it I'm going to put away out of love so that you can multiply and go forward. So that way we don't have to work so hard in the future.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is too, like a lot of people say, like, I don't know how to invest. I don't know where to put the money, right? There's so much great content out there.
So
It's
for
fine.
beginners, like if
Okay.
someone came to say, where should I put my money today?
Okay. So this is what I suggest. First of all, and I did this years ago. So when I started to learn this game, right, I bought a bunch of mutual funds.
Okay.
Okay. And then what I did is I said, okay, I started, understanding this expense management ratio fee, this 2.25% was at the time was very common with McKinsey funds, all those funds. And then what I did, I remember being in the boardroom of my office, right? I took 10 big Canadian equity funds. I had RBC, Phillips and Haggers, like just the big balanced Canadian funds. I took the top 10 holdings, right? And you just print it all, it's all there. And I laid it there on the thing. And I'm going through it. And guess what? Every one of those funds have the top 10 holdings.
Right.
Just different portions. Some might have Royal Bank first, somebody has TD first, somebody has, because in Canada, in my opinion, like there's only 100 companies worth investing in. Right?
Right.
You got the banks, you got the big telcos. They're not so much the telcos anymore either.
No,
But
they'll
you
suck
got
your
the
shit right now.
energy, you got the energy stocks. the life insurance companies. Like, there's only so many sectors, of course, the gold. So I said, okay, I'm just going to buy these individual stocks. Why am I spending 2.5%? And I'll create my own mutual fund. Now, for somebody new, I would go with anything like with an index fund and ETF, like buy the broader market.
Right.
Okay. And I bought the broader market when it comes to technology because I don't know much about technology. Brought the broader market when it came to healthcare because I could never pick a healthcare stock. But same thing is like buy the US, buy the, VOO, VOG or QQQ, like buy indexes that represent the market. Okay, because the market is going to do this over time, but the market is going to give you those returns, right? Buy a good dividend fund, right? But I mean, and don't take my, professional advice, but buy broader market stuff. Do not go into like everybody was running toward Bitcoin and all that kind of stuff. And I always have this thing: if I don't understand it, I don't buy it because I think I'm a
100%.
smart guy. And like even some of these, like we all know, like the Fiskars and all this kind of stuff. Everybody wanted our money. And it's kind of like I'm a smart guy. I understand mortgage math. I understand mix. I don't understand what the hell you guys are doing. I ain't buying, right? So broader market, but it really, like, even she's my daughter Brooklyn, she's got a ton of money because I just give her investment advice all the time and just do this and do this and do this. And and she's doing great, and she's a paramedic in Halifax. Just I was at her wedding, turning 31 this year. Like, she has, honestly, probably just shy of $100,000 saved just by saving money. Ridiculously lives beneath her means, but she kind of gets it. It's like, this is all I got to do, Dad. This is all you got to do.